Midnight Madness?
I look at Midnight Madness for the novice as the gateway drug to the festival experience.
And now the Midnight Madness Show. Here's your host, the DJ Doctor.
I worked on it together. I did the video part of it, and Brian did all the audio. Good job, Brian. You synced it up real well. But we are coming down to the end of 2018. It's kind of sad to see 2018 go, but all I can tell you was what a great 2018 we had at WFMCJams.com. But right next to me, as always, doggone it, we have the Hillbilly Heartthrob. Jason, how are you doing?
Absolutely wonderful.
You just got whistled at.
When you're the heart,
Not by me.
when you're the heartthrob half the stage.
Yeah. Like, yo, waiter, come over here. So, oh, man. So, and we're missing the awesome one. This is like 2 months now. Andy's not been here, and it just is not the same show without Andy. Awesome Andy Storm. His anniversary is tonight, I guess. So he's out and about having an anniversary dinner. So you can bring us back a doggy bag. That'd be nice. And then we have the one, the only. And I see him still moving buttons, and we got a whole new format, new video camera. Everything's all laid out. So we might be going through some growing pains tonight. So bear with us. But we have Brian, the IT guru, on the other end of Pulaski. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. I think the video's working. I just can't find out where Jason's at. I found you, but I can't find Jason.
Jason's on channel 6 if you're playing the home game in the home version.
Channel 6. Well,
Count all the fingers on one hand and just one finger on the
There we
other
go.
hand.
Check. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
All right.
Of course, it sound better with you muted.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, he is redlining over there. So, well, we've had a ton of Midnight Madness shows,
Yes.
ton of them all throughout the year. I always look forward to this one. This is the one
I
I
do
look
too.
forward. I'm already looking forward to this one next year. But this is our little holiday tradition, and we got a little special twist with it tonight. But look, Jason, why don't you go ahead and introduce our artist tonight? And again, I'm tickled to death.
All right. I'm looking forward to this. We have the one and only Miss Patsy Trigg, who is one half of Elmo and Patsy, that brought you Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer.
That's it. Grandma got run over by
Thank
the
you.
reindeer. And we're going to hear her story about it. She's going to play some other songs first. We're going to save that till last and tease you all. So if you got people out there that love the song, which everybody in the world does. that's
Look,
what-
she lights up our life.
look at that. I didn't know she was
That's what
plugged in.
I was
thought.
saving
I
this
thought-
till we
I was
went
like,
on
am I
air.
seeing things?
Wow, she got too close to the outlet or something over there. Patsy, you okay?
I'm vibrating.
Let's keep it a clean show here now. But again, we want to thank Chris from HeatFMRadio.com out there for putting us on the air with his people.
Why should we change now?
Oh, I know. I know. But, we got Patsy on. We got to be on our best behavior.
Oh, no.
Although, if you'd have heard what we were talking about off air, you'd have a different idea. But no, I'm just teasing you, Patsy.
Wow.
Wow. Brian, you got a good video of Patsy on there? We got a new camera. Everything looking good? I can't see it yet. I'm not on Facebook Live.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to do my double checking, but everything looks good so far.
Again, we are trying out new camera technology this time. It's a higher def camera. We've got better audio going through you, so you all out there deserve it, so we're going to give it to you. So Patsy's our guinea pig tonight. She's our guinea reindeer tonight, so we're going to let her try out the equipment. So
Gonna get run over by Brian tonight.
Going to get run over by Brian tonight. This thing crashes.
Oh, no.
So I can see a sequel off that. So Patsy, thank you for coming back and being part of the show. You got
Thank you,
very
Mark.
thick skin. This is the fourth time. Fourth time.
I look forward to it. It was like when y'all called, I was going, yay!
Yes, we can't wait. We hope you're free and available next year because we're going to do it again. So why don't you go ahead and play a tune for us?
You think we can make it 40 years like Grandma?
Boy, I hope so.
Wouldn't
I
that
hope
be
so.
cool?
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Would that be neat?
Let's see.
Of course, he'll be in a wheelchair
we're
by
5
then.
years by right now, right? This is our 5th year.
This is our
Yeah,
fifth year, I
yeah.
believe.
Fifth
Yes.
year. So that means 35 more years.
You'll
I
be-
probably won't be here.
I probably won't be either.
I'll be in my hundreds.
Hopefully, you and I will be sitting somewhere going, "Hey, you remember that song you used to sing back in the day before you got wings?"
We'll do Rockin' Grandma.
There you are. There you are. What's the first song you'd like to?
Actually, I got some folks out here in the audience, and I was playing over, what is it called, a tater box here a couple years back, and Kim walks in and says, I got this, and he goes, here's up to it and down to it and up to it again. If you don't do it when you get to it, you'll never get to it again. And I went, ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I thought, I want to make a song out of that. So I said, do you mind if I take it home? He says, no, it's all yours. So since he's in the audience tonight, I'd like to do that for them. And I'm actually working on putting it together. I got to play for some young children between, kindergarten up to 8 or 9 years old, and they loved it. So I'm going to try to make a story out of it. It goes something like this right here. Here's up to it and down to it, up to it again. If you don't do it when you get to it, you may never get to it again. So do it, just do it, yes, do it, get it done. Running out of time, what you gonna do? Spin your wheels, tough it on through, work it out, get it done. Don't put it off, it'll never get done. So do it, just do it, yes, do it, get it done. Here's up to it and down to it and up to it again. If you don't do it when you get to it, you may never get to it again. So do it, just do it, yes, do it, get it done. Well, thank you, my goodness.
What a way to start it.
Yes. Getting that first little sip is always the toughest part. It's the reorder that gets you every time.
That's right.
Yeah, I hear you. It's that 10th reorder. Patsy, let's find out what you've been doing for the last year since we've seen you. You've been really busy, we know. Just kind of tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I spend a whole lot of time at the Huntsville-Madison County Senior Center. They have a full woodworking shop. They've got many things down there, but I've been mostly making pins, writing pins, and we've made over the last couple of years, we've made over 8,000 pins.
Wow.
And we give them to Redstone Arsenal, and they give them for the Wounded Warrior Project.
Cool.
So we just make them and take them down there and give them to them. And I've made close to 800 myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
There
And
you
it's
are.
fun. I've learned how to make a pen. Sometimes they don't always write, but that's okay. And my main thing that I've been working on musically is I've been really gotten into doing children's books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a wonderful time doing that. And I've just finished my second one, and I'm already started working on the next one. But I think last year we did the one, It's a Merry Christmas When Pigs Fly.
Yes.
And that had great success with that. That's been doing very well. And here again, I do everything kind of on a local level.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got it. Both books are available at the Senior Center gift shops,
The Senior Citizens Gift Shop.
the Botanical Gardens. Most of my stuff is down in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
Second and Charles, which is a major bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I've got it at the bookstore there on the square in Fayetteville.
Okay.
And then if I'm performing somewhere, sometimes I usually have them with me.
Now, do you have online at all, any other way, or can they get them through your website?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, you're so good at this. You'd think you'd never been on radio before.
First time I've ever done this.
Here's what the cover looks like. I don't know how what y'all see or anything, but this is the actual book, and I put in it. It's got Well, this one doesn't have it. Well, yes, it does. But I've got it like a CD in them. I write the story and I've written the song, and then I put it in there so the child can go along. And Dog My Cats is one that, like, I do rescue. I do a lot of rescue. And so I had 2 dogs and 2 cats at the time. And so this book is basically about them and how they get along. And I've got a picture of them in there, of the actual critters that I'm singing about. There's Sparky, Socks, Sarah, and Lewis. And Lewis was basically, I got him, this fellow songwriter just drew a blank. Can you believe that? I think it was, let me see if I wrote it down here. He was a songwriter, and he was another one that wrote great songs, but he knew he wasn't going to be around much longer. So I inherited Lewis. He wanted to make sure I got Lewis.
That's good.
And Lewis is he's the old man of the house. He keeps everybody else in order.
Reminds me of you.
Yeah, the old man of the house. But at least I keep you in order. I got access to the mute button.
I made a video. What I did is, like, the lady who did all the drawings in here, the illustrations, Bonnie Shields. She's, for those who know her, she's really famous for her drawings of mules.
Okay.
And she did all the drawings in there. So I made a music video, which tells me that I'm just learning here again. I'm not real computer savvy here, but I do have fun before I throw it out the window each night. But I made a video of the Dog My Cats. It's got the music, the song on. I'm going to sing it for you here in just a second.
Okay.
And then I put the music on there. But I'm developing a channel, a YouTube channel, and costs nothing to subscribe. But if you go on and put Dog My Cats, and then at the end put Trig, that's my last name, 2 G's. I'm learning this stuff. I know there's probably an easier way to do it, but you'd be amazed at stuff that comes up if you don't put a name with it. And so if you put Dog My Cats and Trig, you can go there, and if you want to see all the other videos I'm making, I've got, I think, 5 or 6 on there now. But that, between writing books and making music videos, I got 2 programs for the music videos, and I've been having a ball putting the music together with the pictures and stuff. And
that's intense. That's labor intensive to do
very, very much.
that. Yeah, we had this little short video that I made the video part of it, and Brian did the audio part, and just to get that synced up, and sometimes a mistake all of a sudden goes, oh, that's perfect. And then sometimes what you had, it's just a kind of a rocky road to go down.
It is
But
very
I love
rocky.
to see the finished product, and Brian did a great job putting it all together. So.
I'll have to see it. The other thing, too, is, like, if you push the wrong button, it's all gone.
Yeah, I've done that before.
And you
I've
get
done
to
that
start
before.
all over.
or you should be saving as you go along, and all of a sudden, halfway through something, all of a sudden you see the little buffer wheel, and then the whole thing just boom, just gone. And you're like going,
Or you're typing away frantically, and you go, all of a sudden you're not watching what you're typing, you're just typing,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's all highlighted in blue, and you go along, and all of a sudden everything's gone because you highlighted it somehow,
yeah,
and then it's gone. Now you got to remember what you said.
yeah. That's when I just shut off the computer and I go watch TV. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm not
Come
good
back
with
tomorrow.
that. Come back tomorrow. Well, you're gonna sing
I'm gonna do Dog My Cats for you,
okay.
and I'm gonna put the words up here. I know them, but just in case I panic, Okay, here we go. He's a little white dog with big brown spots. He dances and he prances as he chases a moth. Cats swoops by and off they go, tearing through the house to and fro. It's Sparky, my hot little chihuahua. He makes every day a fun day. She's a magpie cat with 4 white paws. She loves to tease, never uses her claws. Slams them good and off they go, ripping through the house to and fro. It Socks, my feisty little feline. She makes every day a fun day. She's a little redhead with feathery ears. She loves takes off and off they go, tearing through the house to and fro. It's Sarah, my sweet little Chihuahua. She makes every day a fun day. A solid orange and oh so smart, one sweet kitty and fast as a dart, skids round the corner and off they go, tearing through the house to and fro. It's Louis, my little fur ball. He makes every day a fun day. They make every day a fun day. They make every day a fun day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I just love animals.
You
I got a
animal?
little Chihuahua. Oh, I've got two. I got opposite ends of the spectrum. A little tiny Chihuahua and a great big old crazy dog. He's a half golden lab. Well, I shouldn't say half golden lab. He's part golden lab, part husky, and part chow. So he's just a weird mix of dogs, but he's a beautiful dog, big boy. But I love it that he doesn't know what he is. One day you see him, he barks at you like the lab, and then he'll howl like the husky. It's odd. It's just, it depends on what mood he's in. But beautiful dog. But we just took my little Chihuahua back to Indianapolis to see my grandbaby Ruby, and the other, that's my newest grandbaby, and then her little older brother Spencer, and then my daughter's child Amelia, who's she's going on 5/45. Absolutely crazy. I love my kids and grandbabies, but we took the dogs to go see Santa Claus up there.
Did you get pictures of Santa with the puppies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and my little dog.
You're a good father.
Why, thank you. My little dog Chico, we inherited him. He was kind of a rescue dog, and he's been babied for 7 years with us. He doesn't like people. Because he was treated badly and he's hurt, but once he gets to know you, then he'll warm up to you. So we're taking him to a strange place, which filled with dogs of all sizes. So Chico's on the floor in his little Santa Claus clothes and stuff.
You're one of those.
Yes. Well, I wasn't the only one. Everybody in the vet, they had sweaters like all you guys are wearing too. But what walks in the door? And then two rescue dogs.
French poodle. No, just kidding.
Two giant Great Danes.
Wow.
Two giant Great Danes. Beautiful, but they're big. I came in. Well, the one spotted my little dog and said, like, wow, what's that, a nugget? And ran over to him. My dog was like freaking out. Like, I ain't never seen anything this big in my life. I had to pick him up there, and he's hiding. He's like crawling underneath my arm, staring at this dog, and they're touching noses. My dog was as big as this one dog's whole head. It was absolutely hilarious. But they got their pictures made. The greyhounds were rescued out of Florida, where they just had all that greyhound dog racing stuff. That was two of them. Beautiful dogs. So I was glad they were rescued. I've got pictures of Chico I'll be putting up on the Facebook either tonight or tomorrow. So, but Chico, he did good. He did good with Santa. Got his treat. He was happy.
And he liked his in-laws.
Yeah. He likes his family. There was 5 dogs altogether went to it with us as my ex-wife's 3 dogs, and then my daughter and her dog and us. So there was 5 dogs in one party going over there. It was kind of crazy. Let's get back to Patsy, because you're started talking about animals. We could talk about animals all night long. I love animals. Love dogs.
The only animals I have are 3 kids.
Well, I got some the same. So, but
Did you take him to see Santa?
Speaking of that, Santa will be here this coming Saturday, the 22nd.
Right. Santa will be here
At 11 o'clock till 4 o'clock. We'll be all here. There's going to be some milk and cookies, and there's some pictures to be made, and you can jump on our Facebook page and find out more about that. But from 11 to 4, this coming Saturday, come here and see Santa. It'll be a lot of fun. So.
They're just off the square here in Manchester.
Yes.
111.
And I found out
South
that
Spring.
from like noon till whatever is going to be the carriage rides here in Manchester, which I did not.
Oh,
it's like
that-
the first
that
time
works
they're doing
great.
that. So it's
Yeah.
going to work out great. Come down, get a carriage ride, come over to see Santa Claus. So there's going to be coloring books and stuff to do here. So We got to rearrange the front room here a little bit to make it more kid friendly. But come on down, 11 to 4. It's free. Picture with Santa, I think, is $10. So I think you get a picture and milk and cookies and coloring book and all that
That's
good
great.
stuff. So come on down for that and have a lot of fun. So
And also check the place out, because I started playing when I was just a child. I was like 9 years old. They've got wonderful instruments here, and it's called the house. What is it? The
the Family Music School.
the Family Music
Yep.
School. So this is a good time if your child has an interest in playing. They've got a nice selection of instruments here for great starting out, and you can also get lessons.
And good instructors. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a blast. That's our focus.
Well, we're going to have Santa all weekend because he's going to be at the Smokehouse with us on Sunday during the vinyl show as well.
Really?
Yeah.
All I'm going to ask him for is Smokehouse pickles.
Smokehouse pickles, yeah.
I love their pickles. We talk about that all the time.
On Sunday from 11 to 7, we are going to be live on location at the Smokehouse.
Yep.
Spinning records. We do this once a month, and I've been trying to promote it every day with an album cover.
Yeah, and you scare me on some of your choices of your albums. Of course, we're going to have the classics. We're going to be playing a lot of the classics, a lot
yeah.
of the standards, the Gene Autry, Red-Nosed Reindeer, and, I don't know how many different versions of Baby It's Cold Outside, but we're going to play them all.
That's right. That's all we can find.
And we're going to play everything we got on vinyl, just to whoever's in California, just to make them mad.
We are an equal opportunity offender.
Offenders, yes. Obviously, we're going to play Patsy's Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yes.
And boy, if she can make it up there.
I
it'd be
have
great.
another version of the song this year.
That one?
Grandma. Yes.
Another version?
Yes.
Done by somebody else, you're saying?
Correct.
I heard a terrible, terrible version while I was in Indianapolis.
Uh-oh.
Granddad or Grandpa got run over by a beer truck.
Oh,
The Youpers.
The Ubers, yes.
Yes.
Horrendous bad.
Are you,
Horrendous
are you
bad.
surprised I knew that?
No, I'm not. You know all the
It's
crazy stuff with
it's a Michigan band from the Youper. Upper
from
Peninsula.
Upper Peninsula.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, eh? Yeah.
And we'll talk to Patsy. Well, we have a special guest that we're going to
Yeah.
be talking to in just a short bit.
But the new one I had was a hit in Canada. I found out through Patsy.
yes. Want me to tell that?
Go ahead, yes.
Okay. When we first got Grandma, right after Randy had written it, we sent it back to my parents because they had the publishing. They published it. Well, the Irish Rovers contacted my dad and wanted to see about buying the song. And he called us. He thought maybe that'd be a good idea. Just go ahead because they're ready to go and they're well known. And we said, oh no,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
ours.
Yeah.
So Dad did give him a license. They got a license and recorded it. And theirs came out we said we wanted to come out with it first. And theirs were both about the same time, but theirs went #1 in Canada. And if you go into Canada and talk about Grandma, Irish Rovers,
Irish
is
Rovers.
the name you get. Everywhere else, it's Elmo and Patsy.
Yeah.
But that was cool. They wanted to buy it there. at the
Here's one
beginning.
more interesting tie to that. Mm-hmm. They were on Epic as well.
Oh,
So
really?
they're on the same label at the same time.
Were they? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's wild. Yeah, again, we'll get into the grandma stuff into the second hour of the show here because there's just so much cool stuff about that. And again, our special treat tonight, we have the writer of the song, Mr. Randy Brooks, is going to be calling in. I believe he's in Dallas.
You're going to love Randy.
So
He is a sweetheart.
I got to meet him over in Gatlinburg this year. And like I was telling you off air, I walked up to him, was talking to him, and I'm sure he gets approached a lot about doing stuff, especially with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And I said that the last show of the year we have Miss Patsy Trigg on all the time, and he looked at me and goes, "You know Patsy?" Yeah, he came alive when all of a sudden Patsy's name was out there. Oh man, she's a sweetheart. And so, but he said, "I think I'm in Dallas that week." So we're going to get him Skyped in. So he's going to be calling on air here in a little bit, so we can talk to the man who wrote it, and then we can get the stories between him and Patsy, how it came into development. Again, those of you that are current listeners from last year's show and several before, you're going to hear some of the same stuff. But this year we got a different twist on it. But we just got a lot of brand new listeners this year. So this is our first time here in Patsy on the radio with us. So
Well, do you want to do another one of Randy's songs?
Sure, we can do
why
that.
not?
Let me get ready here. This is actually when we first did Grandma. Like I said, we met Randy up at Hyatt. He came in. They had just finished playing. Their van broke down, and they got it fixed, and we're getting ready to head out. A big snowstorm came in, they closed down the mountain. Nobody could get off the mountain. So he came in, he watched our first show, and he goes, I just wrote a song, and my group doesn't want to play it. Now, I'm anxious to hear his how he remembers it.
Yes.
But he said that and wanted us to hear this new song he just wrote. So we went back to the dressing room. Come on in. We went back to the dressing room, and he did Grandma for us.
Uh-huh.
And so after we recorded that, we asked him if we could record it, and he said, yeah, come right on and do that. So after we recorded it, we needed a song on the B-side, and he didn't tell us about this other song yet. But anyway, so we did, I sat down and wrote the B-side called Christmas.
Okay.
And Christmas was the B-side for the first 5 years. It was number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Epic took it, that's when they put Percy the Puny Poinsettia on the B-side.
Okay.
Now let me get Percy ready.
Okay.
Now then, in the interim, a lot of people know that Dandy Toys makes a lot of toys every year for Grandma, coming out with all types of reindeers and stuff like that. Well, after Epic put Percy on, I started having fun with Percy and taking him around. I wrote a little book about it and started coming up with, and this is Percy. So anyway, I went in the studio, and the people, Gary Holcomb down there at Dandy Toys, I drove down to Florida and said, I got a perfect toy for you. And it actually was in the stores for a while, but it was a dancing poinsettia. And but anyway, if you want to play it, this is a song that was written by Randy, and we also recorded it on our album.
Track 3, Brian.
Track 3. And we're going to sing this for you. Will we be able to hear it? Yes. Randy wrote that one. I just had to do that one. After you told me you talked to him, I said, got to do this one.
That's great.
Absolutely. Now, did you make that one yourself?
Yeah, I made Percy.
Made Percy. How long ago did you make Percy? That
Woo, that was about five years ago.
okay?
I just got a wild hair one day. I thought, well, I'm kind of corny anyway, so why not? It fits.
I wouldn't say corny. It just seemed like you're very happy.
I am.
You're very outgoing,
And I'm a child.
and that's good. But I mean, it's what's keeping you young and feisty. Those are all good things.
Thank you.
we were kind of shocked that you didn't show up with your reindeer getup on your car this year.
I forgot. That's what I say. This is terrible. When you get to this, there's like a little cross over there somehow, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Okay, go on.
Like I said, you've been busy. You got a lot of stuff going on.
The first year that she came and did
Oh
our
my
show,
gosh.
Yes.
she made us wear.
Yes.
You had to wear elf ears.
I had elf ears, and people said I looked like Yoda. And
That was that
Patsy,
was
the other
fun.
day, I was going through Facebook stuff, and I was going through your Facebook to try to pull off some pictures to use for here. And you have me as Yoda on your Facebook page. I'm like, Patsy, I'm trying to hide that one. So if you want to see, some really cool pictures, and then one of me, I was on Patsy, but it was kind of an honor going, I'm on Patsy Trigg's Facebook page. She's got me as Yoda on there. Actually, I was an elf, but I look like Yoda.
I'll tell you what, I got some good friends out there because, to be honest with you, it takes me forever to learn how to put anything on there. And it usually takes a couple of days of figuring it out. But a lot of people will come in and put a lot of things on there, and it's all has to do with grandma and different things I'm doing. So actually, I got to thank my friends that are helping me out.
Well, again, thank you. Everybody that's getting involved with Patsy. She does a lot of great stuff with children and animals. So make sure you check out.
and Percy.
And Percy. Yeah, plants, I guess. Yeah, we have vegetation would be great.
Randy wasn't real sure about the plant when it first came out. I went down there and it comes out, and it's just a single plant. It was in a little planter, and of course it's the poinsettia, and it dances around while it sings.
Uh-huh.
And Randy wasn't real sure about it, and so they were selling it. I'm trying to think it was one of the drugstores. I'll think of it here in a minute.
Okay.
But it's a couple years ago, and he got in. He was going to get one. And he got in line, and there was a woman in front of him had one, and he says, "Aren't these adorable?" And he called me. He says, "I think I like them."
When he checks his bank account, he goes, it's not bad. Not bad. So that just cracks me up when going, I don't think I like that. When you see a line full of people lined up to buy a plant, a dancing plant, and you're going, did you ever dream that you'd be making money off of something like that? Did you ever
Never,
dream
never.
that? And again, we'll talk to Randy and you about the stuff
Yeah.
because there's so many cool stories and questions.
And this is the biggest year ever. Have you seen the cartoons out there? On
I haven't
Randy?
had time, but I've heard a
yeah.
lot of stuff.
God, every time somebody's sending me one constantly. We usually get one or two every year, but I've gotten at least 7 or 8 this year already.
About for
For
reindeer?
Grandma.
Yeah. And now we sent you one because we're guilty of that too. Just because we
Right.
saw it on Facebook. I love it. It shows a reindeer sitting in like a jail cell.
Jail cell, yeah.
Was that not the hilarious? You ever heard about the reindeer that ran over Grandma? I'm that reindeer. I'm that reindeer. He was admitting to it.
I like the one with the guy who's in church, and he's standing there, and he's got a sign up, and it's got Grandma got run over by a reindeer on a sign. And his wife's like this, "It's the choir, they don't take requests."
There's just so much of that I just go, boy, can you imagine? And we'll talk to Randy about that, but it just, when you write a song like that, to think of all the spin-offs and the
I
takeoffs, and I've heard some really good versions of it again. I played you last year, Home Free. There's a
Yeah.
cheesy video to it,
Yeah.
but musically it's very talented. They're wonderful singers. But you just look at it going, can you imagine the spin-offs when you sang it? And you imagine when Randy wrote it, going, can you
I know.
when you knock off Bing Crosby's White Christmas,
5 years.
that's just incredible. That's incredible because that's like the song of all songs.
Yeah.
That and then Candle in the Wind when Elton John redid that one there for Princess Di.
We got to play with Bing Crosby. We got to do a show with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he used to come up to San Francisco every year and do a benefit to raise money for the hospital there where his wife was
Okay.
before when she died of cancer. But he would still come up to raise money, and they had Rudy Valley
Oh wow!
and Bing Crosby, and they had the San Francisco Symphony there. Now this isn't. We were just beginning. I mean, we were at our beginning stages, and we got advice from someone and says, whatever you do from here on out, we just did a lot of stuff for exposure, and we all know what that means.
Yeah.
You're the first.
We're still
ones-
doing it.
Yeah.
You're the first ones usually to get kicked off the show too if
Yes.
it's overtime. So anyway, they said whatever you do, make sure you get a contract, and even if it's a small amount, get paid. So Rudy Valley comes out, and he's got a cassette player, and it must be like a 90-minute, because he's up there, and instead of having his megaphone, he's got this little tape. He turns it on, he starts singing. Well, everybody's supposed to do about 15 minutes. And then you go on with your program.
Right.
Well, he's singing and he's singing. Well, he finally gets to the end. He takes it out and flips it over.
Oh no.
So they've got to get him off the stage. And so they're running around kicking groups right and left. And they came to us and said, we're really sorry you're not going to be able to play. We said, fine, just give us our money. And they said, pardon? And we said, yes, we got a contract. You owe us $25. See, it doesn't matter what the amount is.
Yeah.
Get a contract. They said, we're paying you? We said, yes. And they said, okay, you're still on. Cut it down to 2 or 3 songs.
Wow.
So we got to go on stage with Bing Crosby, and you know you talk about his voice, and it was like if I was to stand way back there against that wall and sing, you could hear him in the entire room.
Wow.
He was just so casual and relaxed, and his son was just learning to play banjo. So after we got through, they invited us into their dressing room, so we could talk to his son, who was just learning the banjo at the time.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. Now, no offense to Patsy or Randy, but Bing Crosby has my favorite all-time Christmas song, which was done with David Bowie. And I just absolutely little drummer boy. David Bowie and Bing Crosby together. I seen them when they did the Bing Crosby Christmas special.
Yeah.
And David was young. It was early on in his career.
Isn't that funny to see?
Yeah, and he makes fun of, like, he gets into all the old classic singers, all the classic stuff, like John Lennon was like old at that time, and it was just a great thing. But
Yeah.
Bing Crosby's White Christmas obviously is a huge hit. But if you haven't heard it, and you'll hear it, Mount Eagle Mountain, I will be playing that one. But Bing Crosby with David Bowie, absolute stunning song. And John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell did a cover of it.
And did it very well.
And I would have thought it was the same two guys. I thought it was Bing and David, but what a wild pairing of the two. But Bing Crosby and David Bowie. And then you got Elmo and Patsy, who has the song. Now, can you imagine if you were at number one while Bing was still alive? You think he'd have invited you to the dressing room? He said,
Let me have these kids.
now, how long ago did it finally take the top spot? It's been a few years back, right?
In 83, we got it to number 1. We had sent the master back to my dad, who had, like I said, he had a studio, and he mostly did gospel. Now, he sweetened it, and what he did is he brought in a fellow by the name of Wayne Bridge. You might know him or not. He's a studio musician, and he was with Desert Rose. He was original member of Desert Rose.
Okay.
And Dad used him on a lot of recordings. Well, he came in and added a little bit, and then working with some contacts that he had in Nashville, Dad worked with Joe Gibson of Nationwide Sound, and it was through Joe Gibson that we got the single to number 1 on Nationwide Sound. We call it our own label because it was not a major label.
Right.
And then, of course, Epic took it over the next year, and they went with it from there. What was your question? Sorry.
I don't know. I'm going to have to run back on that one. I got so involved in the story, I forgot what I even asked. We don't script write these things, folks. Every time I make a mistake, I give somebody's name wrong or the wrong date. I always blame it on the teleprompter or the script writers, but we have no such thing as that. But we just
We're trying though.
We're trying, though. Yeah, we got a monitor on the table, and all I see is Brian's, I don't know, his program up there with all the faders and stuff. Are you able to switch to video on that for us, Brian, so we can see that, or you can't do that?
Yeah, I probably could.
All right.
Oh.
That'd be cool. We'll see Patsy looking like Hendrix, so she'll be reversed.
Reversed, yeah.
Hendrix.
Now, the first time I heard Grandma had to be '84 when Epic took it over,
Wow.
and I was
You probably just
7.
in diapers. I was going to say still in diapers.
I was
He still is in diapers.
Yeah, no, I was 7.
7.
And I can remember somebody was some Christmas program, and somebody was lip syncing Grandma.
Wow.
And at Christmas Day, I heard it again on the radio for the first time. So it was probably January I made my mother buy the 45.
Wow. That original one that came out there was only 10,000 of them made. So if you got one of those, there are no more. I mean, because then Epic, the one prior to Epic,
Yeah, I've got.
Epic came out with, and that's when they put, I think, no, they didn't. They still had Christmas on the back.
The what? Oink, correct? Oink?
Yeah, yeah.
I have that. And
That's-
you've signed
that's-
that for me as well.
There's only 10,000 of those.
I've got one.
Wow.
So now there's 9,900.
Well, the sad thing is mine's in rough shape because it skips through
does
Grandma.
it?
Christmas plays well, but it skips through Grandma. But just to have that, especially for what I paid for it, which was free, it's worth it.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get Patsy to do another tune real quick. Probably got time for a couple before we get Randy on air, and then we can really hit reindeer pretty hard at that point. But people that are listening for the first time, you're listening to one half of the duet of Elmo and Patsy. We have Miss Patsy Trigg here with us. This is her 5th anniversary with the show. We absolutely are just tickled to death. She always does the last show of the year. This is our last live show because next week's Christmas Eve and the week after that's New Year's Eve.
Correct.
So this is the last live show of the year. We'll have stuff playing. We'll probably play the best of, or we'll play prior Midnight Madness shows. But this is the way we like to end the year on a positive, strong note. We had a great 2018. I can't stress that enough. A great
It
2018.
was amazing.
And 2019 is rolling into 2018 on steroids.
I'm not wanting to rush it, but I'm really looking forward to 2020, so you can say everything's 2020.
2020. There you go. Well,
2019 is going to be really great because it's going to take us right into
2020. There
That's
you
right.
go. Well, Patsy, what do
2020.
you want to play for us this time?
I've got another song, the one I did. This is another one of my children's books. It's called
Okay.
"It's a Merry Christmas When Pigs Fly."
Yes, I
And
love this one.
Kids really, they love it too. And
Because
Kim-
I love when you have the word fatback.
I know, isn't
and
that
your
the
song.
best
Stinky.
name?
Yeah, speak
When I-
for yourself, Jason.
When I played for these kids and I said, the first time I said stinky, oh my God, they erupted. It was like all the giggles and shouts and stuff like that. They love the names of all these little piglets.
There you go.
Okay, let me get the volume back up. Okay. But anyway, here goes something like this. The little story behind it is Jack Frost was running a race with Round the World Twice thing, and his team, he kept coming in second, so he figured he had to do something different to make it work. And he didn't think Santa would just openly give him his reindeer right before Christmas. So he kind of went in and quietly took Santa's reindeer out and left his team behind, which were 8 little pigs. And so Santa was in for quite a shock, and this is how the story goes. That's built around that. Okay. Get these on just in case. 2 weeks before Christmas, Santa walked out to the barn. As soon as he opened the door, shouted with great alarm, "Oh no! Someone's taken my reindeer, not a single one in sight. Without my trusted reindeer, there'll be no Christmas Eve night." Santa got another shock. He found a pig in every stall. On each door was a funny name, made Santa laugh after all. Ho, 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 ho. I'll be the laughing stock of Christmas, there can be no doubt. Such silly, silly, funny names I dare not shout. Pork chop, fatback, Bacon and Pinky, patty cake and piggy. Oh my goodness, there's a ham bone in a stinky. It's a Merry Christmas when pigs fly. It's a Merry, Merry Christmas as they sail the winter sky. All dreams can come true if you really, really try. It's a Merry Christmas when pigs fly. Santa saw what must be done, the children can't go lacking. So he hooked up each little pig, said, come on, let's get cracking. Daily practice made them perfect, Santa shouted with glee. Christmas Eve everyone will see how smart pigs can be. Santa said tenderly, you pigs taught me to believe. The pigs flew like eagles, they flew high up over the trees. The people who looked up that night saw 8 pigs pulling a sleigh. The entire world got a shock that night when they heard Santa say, on pork chop, on fatback, now bacon and Pinky, on patty cake, on piggy, on ham bone and you too, Stinky. It's a Merry Christmas when pigs fly. It's a Merry, Merry Christmas as they sail the winter sky. All dreams can come true if you really, really try. It's a Merry Christmas when pigs fly. It's a Merry Christmas when pigs fly. Yeah, it's a Merry Christmas when pigs fly. Thank you.
No,
Oink,
Patsy.
oink.
Oink, oink. Are you still playing the cigar box guitars at all?
Right now, the one that I love to play is like needs to be in the shop.
Oh.
You can't plug it in right now, but since you brought that up, I'm glad you brought that up. I have just finished another song that I've just recently written, and it's called Moon Pie, My Old Friend. Remember I told you about it? I brought the cigar box I brought in was a moon pie
Right.
that I had made into a cigar box. Well, I wrote a song called Moon Pie, My Old Friend. And I don't know if you've ever heard of a fellow by the name of Microwave Dave, but he's one of the best blues players on the planet. You remember the Roadrunner song that came out in the 80s?
Which one?
Roadrunner? If you look it up, it was a #1 hit. But anyway, that was his.
Makes me feel stupid.
It was
Jason,
his,
you should add that one.
You do feel stupid.
Anyway, he is a phenomenal. He's worked with all the top blues players in travel, but his name is Microwave Dave, and the Nukes. That's his band.
Okay.
But anyway, he came into the studio. I invited him to come in and play on this one, and he does the lead on it. But here again, I just finished making a video of it, and it's on YouTube. And if you put in Moon Pie, My Old Friend, and don't forget Trig. When we first made those, Moon Pie Company took 10 of them, and they had a thing in Chattanooga at the farmers market.
Okay.
And I went up there and I was playing, and somebody filmed me playing the song, just sitting there at their booth. And so that one's on there, but you got the one I just finished making. It's been on about 2 weeks, but check it out, please.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's
Since
cool.
you brought up the cigar, the Moon Pie box.
Yeah, I was
cigar
going to say,
box.
I haven't seen you play that. So.
Not in a while. I need to start bringing it with me again, but I got to take it in and get the shop to work on it a little bit. I like the slide.
Yeah.
It's fun playing slide.
Well, we're getting close to the Randy Brooks moment. Randy's actually listening to you, so if you
Oh,
wanna-
is he?
Yeah.
Hi,
he's,
Randy.
He's made comments on here for us.
Uh-oh.
We're getting a pretty good hit of people listening.
He hasn't
Anybody
sent
out
me
there
a
you wanna
raspberry yet, has he?
What's that?
He hasn't sent me a raspberry yet, has he?
No, but I keep seeing stuff popping. I see hearts and I don't even know what that all means. But I think
Okay.
people are liking and loving you, Patsy. So
Thank you.
again, give everybody your website or Facebook page, how to get a
Okay.
hold of you.
All I know is on YouTube. I don't know enough about it to know that.
Okay.
But I do have a Facebook page, but don't ask me how to get there. I have to wait till somebody sends me something, and I go there from there, from when they tag me. They say, you've been tagged in so-and-so's Facebook page. So as soon as I hit that, I know I can go to my Facebook page.
You just click on the link.
We tagged you in a video too, so you've got this video on your page.
Oh, do
right
I?
now. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting it there.
Yeah.
But as far as the YouTube thing, if you go to YouTube and type in any Dog My Cats or It's a Merry Christmas When Pigs Fly or Moon Pie My Old Friend and put my name at the end, I'm building a channel and you can subscribe and it doesn't cost you anything. And that way, every time I do a new video, you'll get a copy of it.
That's cool. I believe you can get to Patsy. Just go to Facebook and then put in Patsy Trigg, 2 G's at the end. It just
Can
pops
you?
right up. Yeah,
Oh,
pops
does
right
it?
up. I think your profile pic's you holding the guitar you're right next to. I think.
Yes.
Wow.
I think
Okay.
that's your profile pic. is-
Okay, yeah. And yeah, okay.
So,
and then it's got the dog, my cat's picture in the background.
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, check it out.
Isn't
find
that
out what's-
amazing? You can't even get on your own Facebook page. I've gone out there and typed my name and said, "Can I get out there now?"
Yeah.
And I don't know where I end up, but I can never find it.
Well, this year, because we've done so much, I've learned a lot about Facebook, and there's still so much I don't know about it, and I get frustrated with it because when I take a picture of, like, say, of you, and I go in to tag it, so you'll get hey, Mark shared this with us. Sometimes I can put in Patsy, and it'll pop right up and have Patsy Trigg, and it'll link right to you. Next time I can type out your whole name, and it doesn't have a clue where you're at, and.
Good.
I've done that with Brian. I've tried to send stuff to Brian, our
Does the
IT
same
guru.
thing? Yeah.
And in 1 minute I'll put in BR and it'll pop Brian up in his little icon. No problem. The next minute I can't find Brian. I have no Brian Howells whatsoever in my system. So I tried to do that with Jason.
I had that same issue when I tried to tag in their picture. I could get half of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't find Ray Lynn.
Yeah, just she's under her own thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got time for probably one more song, and then
Yeah,
we'll
we
bring
do.
on Mr. Brooks.
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
We'll do Randy's song that he wrote, the one everybody likes. But Brian, I'm getting ready to unplug my. You got it down.
I think we got you muted here. So
I
she's
can
going.
change?
Oh, okay.
For those of you that are not watching Facebook Live, she is going from the ukulele to the ovation. She is looking. There she is. She is plugging
It's,
the
it's
guitar.
a standing ovation.
It's a standing ovation. Patsy should get those just about wherever she goes. That's for sure.
Yes.
This is a beautiful ovation.
Isn't it gorgeous? I wanted to get all my guitars are just regular acoustic, and I was beginning to experiment with stuff down this way, and I thought, I need to get a cutaway.
Yep.
And so I walked into this store, and this was the first guitar up there, and I said, I don't care what it sounds like, bring it down.
Bring it down.
Okay, let's see, volume.
There we
Thank
go.
you, Randy. I'm glad you wrote this song, and I'm glad you let us be the first ones to record it. You are a sweetheart. Okay, y'all have to sing along when we get to the chorus now.
Are we doing Grandma now?
Is that what you wanted?
How about we wait until Randy's on?
Okay.
Let's do one more song before, and then we'll get Randy on.
What's the other song of Randy's you were talking about?
What? That
Put her
looks
on the
childlike. So happy.
Okay, Randy. I know.
See, they do this to me all the time. I'll be ready for something, and they'll, hey, Brian, can you play track 5?
Now that this is one of them he brought to us, and we did play this one a lot on stage, and people really like it. Hope I don't get shot here. It has been years since I've played this, and I will have to read it, and especially when I get to the long part.
Is this the one that you headbang in the middle of it?
Okay. It's one called Will You Be Ready at the Plate When Jesus Throws the Ball. You remember that one, Randy? Okay. Well, life is just, let's see, sorry. We're going to do it again. I forgot how it starts Life is just a baseball game and most folks play to win. You won't even get to first if you're wallowing in sin. You'll never make the team if you don't live a Christian life. If you've been making love, my friend, she'd better be your wife. Will you be ready at the plate when Jesus throws the ball? Your life be an infield fly or a base hit off the wall. No sinner's ever ready when he hears that umpire's call. You be ready at the play when Jesus throws the ball. Will you be in condition on the day you get the call? Or have you broken training rules with drugs and alcohol? If you can't play the game, you will be sent down to the minors. Satan is the manager, and it ain't in North Carolina. Will you be ready at the play when Jesus throws the ball? Your life be an infield fly or a base hit off the wall. No sinner's ever happy when he hears that umpire's call. You be ready at the play when Jesus throws the ball. Hallelujah, brothers and sisters. Did you always think the initials RBI stood for roguish body inclinations? If someone were to mention the immortal babe, would you think they're talking about Mae West? If I were to walk up to you right now and say Raleigh fingers, I'll bet you think I met a rash transmitted by means of peeing. Well, brothers and sisters, Well, brothers and sisters, you're in trouble. And what you need is my pamphlet describing the road to salvation. It's entitled The Fall of the Roman Empire. Special operators are standing by right now to take your order. The number's spelled out in chewing gum under your table, and if you hurry up and call before tomorrow night at midnight, we'll give to you absolutely free a photo of Charlie Finley in the showers. Now all you have to do is send us 3 bills. We don't care what currency, but we do ask in the interest of ecumenicalism that no 2 of these bills be of the same denomination. What a mind this guy has, right? Now, where was I? Oh, your pamphlet will come to you colorfully wrapped in either a red or a white sock. We have extra good news for you health food fans. Many parts of the pamphlet are edible. Say hallelujah. Now ask yourself this question. Have your morals gone on strike? Do you direct foul language at the folks that you don't like? And would you rather steal than would you rather steal than base your life on something fair? Yeah. And do you stay at home or go out swinging everywhere? Will you be ready at the play when Jesus throws the ball? Your life be an infield fly or a base hit off the wall. No sinner's ever ready when he hears that umpire's call. You be ready at the play when Jesus throws the ball. Will you be ready at the play when Jesus throws the ball? Made it through. What a mind he has, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's an interesting song. I wonder if Jesus actually ever intentionally threw at a hits batman, tried to hit a guy.
Do what now?
Just if he ever threw the ball intentionally tried to hit a batter. You think Jesus would ever done that? I think I could see him.
I know one person he'd probably like to throw the ball at.
Leave Mark out of the conversation.
Thanks, Jason.
2 people.
Yes, I'm with Patsy on this one here. So, no, that's pretty cool. The clever mind of Randy Brooks. So, I'm looking forward to getting him on here. What time? We about ready to give him a call?
It's about time. Yeah, I think it's time we should give him a call.
Randy, we're going to call you right now, so get ready. While the phone's ringing.
Ooh, you actually have it ringing. It sounds like a real phone.
Yeah. Now will he answer it?
Well, it's about time.
How you doing, Randy?
Hey, fine, thank you. I better turn my computer down.
Uh-oh. Well, it's so good to get you on here. Now, everybody else on the radio show has met you multiple times. You know, Brian, our IT guy, has met you over at the Commodore quite often. But I finally got to meet you. I got to meet you over at the Smoky Mountain Songwriter Festival over in Gatlinburg. You were there on Thursday night doing the opening act on that. So I I got to.
Yeah, unbeknownst to me, they came up to me a couple minutes before and said, "Oh, you know you're going to play the opening concert, don't you?"
Oh wow, wow. Yeah, no, you had a pretty good little act, but it was great when someone goes, "Oh, it's Randy Brooks." I'm like, "Is this guy I've been trying to see?" Although I had to go all the way to Gatlinburg to see you, not even in Nashville. I had to go to Gatlinburg to see you. So, but that was cool. And I talked to you about this night several months back, and we're so glad to get you part of it. So we're going to be able to get to hear your side of the story, and we're going to compare notes with Patsy, see what she's been telling us some truth or not.
Sounds like a crime scene.
Yeah. We got a big spotlight on Patsy right now. All the lights are off with a big
I'm
white light
sweating
on her.
it too.
No, so
No.
so Randy, before we get into Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, tell us a little bit about your past, your history. When did you get into the music? About what age were you when you started getting serious about music?
Well, my first paying job with a band, I was 14 in a folk trio that was modeled after the Kingston Trio.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
What was the name of the band?
If I'm talking haltingly, it's because I'm hearing my voice coming back at me with a delay.
Oh, okay. We'll see if Brian can't fix that for you. Sometimes Skype does some weird things to us.
Yeah.
We'll try to get that fixed.
Okay.
Turn your guitar away from the microphone, no, from the speaker.
Turn the radio down in the background like the old days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I turned my computer speakers all the way down. I've been listening to the show.
And you still called. I'm shocked.
Well, and I'm so impressed. I cannot do the talking part on "Will you be ready at the ball" and still play guitar. I have to stop playing while I talk. So Patsy's one up on me.
I love that song, man. First time I heard it, I said, "This one is so cool."
I loved it when she added the chord or two in there that she did kind of improv in there, and the look on her face like, "Ooh!" I love that. So you started a little trio, folk trio. Where did it go from there with you?
Well, I played all through high school. We got a bunch of paying jobs with that group, and we got to go to New York to be on the Ted Mack Amateur Hour.
Oh wow!
Wow.
And then when college came around, I sort of quit playing, and I worked at the radio station, which was a lot of fun, and I got to meet some people as a result of that.
Now, what was your job there? Were you DJing or were you music director?
I was a morning DJ, and I wound up becoming the music director for 2 years at the station at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And then this story has just come up in the last month, which is fantastic. As I started writing some songs, mostly my senior year, I think, at school.
Was that Garbage
started going
Dumpster?
around to some of the syndicated shows that were being taped in Nashville at the time, and asking different people who I knew had some success.
With her and reminded her about the advice she gave you?
No, I tried at one point to contact her through her manager, I think, but I never heard back. People on her level have such gatekeepers.
I saw where she posted something about being a VIP. What was that about, Jason? Is that is that Dollywood or something going on? She posted something about being a VIP and
It could be, they would bring somebody in to,
the Dollywood.
yeah,
Well, that's pretty cool.
spend the day with her. I think, who else was doing one? I think it was, shoot. They're doing one with Weird Al right.
And you talk about me being old.
They're doing one with Weird Al right now. You can spend a day with Weird Al in New Orleans.
He did Grandma.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. But I can imagine what his version was like, too, though. But I bet it was clever. I bet it was better clever. So, Randy, kind of walk us through. You were in a band. You were writing songs. Kind of walk us how you met Patsy up there in that snowy mountain.
And probably at our advanced age, probably our memories are a little bit different than the situation.
That's why we're cross-checking it.
But I was playing at the Hyatt out in Lake Tahoe with my band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there.
Our run came to an end in mid-December,
Okay.
and we packed up our van and we're ready to head back to Texas. And the van wouldn't go anywhere. The brakes had frozen.
Wow.
18 degrees out there. So,
Patsy's checking them off, Randy. She's checking them off, going, so far we're right on the money.
all right. Okay. So the hotel let us check back in for one more night. And we wanted to go see the band that followed us into the Sugar Pine Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people out there had always told us, we really like you guys, and you're our second favorite act that plays here. but Elmo and Patsy are our favorite.
Wow.
So we went into the lounge, and when they found out that the other band was there, they invited us up on stage and said, well, let's just finish up our set with a bunch of bluegrass songs that we all know in common.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan was, I think, just to do like Rocky Top and Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms together.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody in the audience, it was a casino employee on his night off, he sent a request up for Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer that he had heard my group do.
Okay.
Yeah. And Elmo and Patsy said, well, sure, go ahead and sing it, you know. And I did. And afterwards, they said, come back in the dressing room and record that on our cassette recorder. We'd like to learn it. And I was very excited to think that somebody might be singing my song when I wasn't in town.
Right.
And mention me, and it might make me seem more like a real songwriter. And I had no idea they were going to record it until I got a cassette in the mail one day.
Wow.
And even then, it was to sell from the stage. I had no idea it would ever get played on the radio. I just wrote it to sing to drunks in a bar.
Well, let's hear your side of the story, and this is why I'm so glad, because so far everything you're talking about is what Patsy has said in the past, which has been a great story. But how did you come across this whole idea about this song? Was it a something you just started working on? I'm going to write a Christmas tune. How the reindeer song?
The killer reindeer song.
Yeah, the killer reindeer at start, I guess.
Well, it had occurred to me that the world could use a new Christmas song.
Mm-hmm.
I was putting together a background music tape for a restaurant where we played in Dallas, and I had borrowed all these Christmas albums and checked them out. And every year, the family would wait by the mailbox for the card to arrive.
Right.
And then they'd take it in and hang it in the middle of the mantle. And you just knew in the third verse, here comes another one of those songs where they set you up to love somebody for two verses, and they kill them off in the third verse.
Beautiful,
And my
beautiful way to
thinking
say
was,
it.
Merle, yeah, I thought, Merle, you're above that. and so that night I climbed in bed with my guitar and my co-writer Johnny Walker Black, and we ask ourselves, if we were to rewrite Merle's song, a song in the style of Merle Haggard, how could we kill Grandma in the first line in a manner uniquely seasonal?
Oh, Randy.
And if you listen to that song, there's a turnaround at the end of every chorus, a 3-chord turnaround, which is the same thing that is in Merle's "If We Make It Through December."
Oh, did not know that.
And there's a little guitar lick, a little rundown to a minor chord that comes out of his song "Daddy Frank." So I was really trying to parody Merle Haggard.
Wow.
So you were like the original Weird Al. Wow. Okay.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And then I always say that the first time I heard the Elmo and Patsy record on the radio, it was a thrill, as it is for any songwriter the first time you hear your thing on the radio. But I thought, this doesn't sound like Merle Haggard. I'm not sure that's the way this song should have been recorded. And then every 6 weeks, royalty checks started showing up in the mailbox. And I said, that's exactly the way that song should have been recorded.
Perfect. That's the way I wrote it. That's the way it needs to be done. Every 6 weeks.
Exactly.
That is awesome. Well, I loved your business card. When I talked to you over there in Gatlinburg, you handed me a business card, and I absolutely fell in love with it because it said his name, Randy Brooks, but underneath that you had this really long line that says, "Milking Grandma got run over by a reindeer for 40 years." I love that. It said, this guy's got a sense of humor, obviously. Now,
You might as well tell the truth, huh?
oh yeah, and speaking of the truth, I'm going to be brutal honest. I said this the very first time I met Patsy 5-6 years ago. I graduated high school in the 70s, and the 1970s, Jason, not the 1870s, but the 1970s.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
1770.
Yeah. And I just went through that whole thing with Dickie Goodman, the Energy Crisis, Mr. Jaws. You had the Ray Stevens stuff that was out, And then I heard this song coming on at Christmas time with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And I just shook my head and said, here's another one. This is sad. This song won't make it because all the other ones were just novelty things. And I said that to Patsy, said, this song will die. It'll never make it. And Patsy said 5 years ago, well, here's another song I wrote. Tell me if you think this is going to last 40 years or not. And I think it's hilarious that
I'm so glad you were wrong.
yes, me too. Because what is so
Aren't we
cool?
all?
So what is so cool about this gig? And I just pat myself on the back because of just a lucky chance to go. 40 years ago, I'm dogging this song, going, this will never fly, and not because of you guys, but because of priors to it, kind of sets you up for me to think it's going to fail. But 40 years later, I'm sitting here in a room with Patsy for the fourth or fifth time. And I get to talk to Randy, who wrote the song. Who would have thought that? For me, as an artist, as a musician, I'm just figured my life's going to be, I'm just going to be a drummer for the rest of my life. But I get to meet the artist behind the song and the artist that has written the song. Man, that's just a thrill for me. You have no idea how cool that is, Randy, that I can sit here and say I got to listen to Randy Brooks talk about it and listen to Patsy perform it. That's a great thrill in my life.
Well, the thing is,
Well, you're very kind, and I think I'm safe in saying that for Patsy and me, we're just thrilled that we're still alive 40 years later.
So true.
And so am I. What were you going to say, Jason?
it's not Christmas until I hear the song.
You're absolutely right. Now, for me, it's not Halloween until you hear Monster Mash. You got to hear Monster Mash and Werewolves of London. Then you know it's Halloween. It's got to play those two songs or it's not Halloween. But it's not Halloween until I hear Little Drummer Boy by Bing Crosby.
you mean Christmas.
And David Bowie. Little Drummer Boy. on this one right here. The grandma got run over by a reindeer. Now it's Christmas when I hear that. So
I got to ask Randy a question here.
Sure.
How many times have you been like somewhere and somebody getting ready to introduce you to someone and they say, ask the person, do you know the song Grandma? And the person goes, I hate that song. Well, this is the lady who
This is the lady who
sang
sang it.
Oh, I love that song.
my favorite song of all time.
Yes, it is. All these people come up to you afterwards and say, that's my favorite Christmas song. And you know those have got to be the same people who vote in these radio station polls about their unfavoritist song.
They're making up for it.
Now, and I said this to Patsy, did you ever dream when you, like I said, you got that song on the radio, before the royalty checks started rolling in, did you ever dream that it'd be the #1 Christmas song for 5 years in a row, and it's gone to remake after remake after remake, to cartoons,
Parodies and parodies and parodies.
and you got Dolly and Jimmy Fallon singing it. Could you ever sit down and imagine in your wildest dreams that song was going to do that for you?
No, I'd have had to have been on drugs to think that.
Well, you were on,
No, I was on drugs, but-
Jimmy Walker. Yeah. You were getting there.
Did you know, Randy, too, like you got a chance to talk to Dolly Parton. Back in 86 or 87, she had her own TV show. It was like on a major TV show. And I remember that's when I had
ABC, I think, yeah.
I had just moved down to LA and I had my little apartment and I was kind of blue. But anyway, I had the TV on because I loved to watch her show. And doggone if she didn't sing Grandma. That made my, did you see that one?
I thought there were some puppets or something that sang it, but
They did, but she sang with them. Yeah, she sang with them. I think it was from the Muppets.
Oh man,
The Muppets. You know you've gone places when Jim Henson and the Muppets are singing your song and Weird Al doing a cover. I hear so
Well, and
many.
this year, Mitch Ryder, Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels recorded it.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
So did you get approached a lot? Now, I guess it's in your court now. Do you get a ton of requests from people wanting to cover that song or redo that song?
No, not tons, but every year there's somebody new. I mean, last year it was Ray Stevens. The year before that it was the Coaster. It's usually people who are on oxygen.
Well, we have a tie-in with the
But
coasters.
like I
with,
heard y'all mention the home free recording, and I think that's just fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Did you see the video?
Yes, I've seen
cheesy.
multiple videos at different concerts.
Oh yeah, the home free video. The video itself is cheesy. When you got the reindeer, in the restroom reading the newspaper, very cheesy, funny, very cheesy. But my God, those guys' voices, they can sing, and I thought they did the song really well. And then I was
And they brought something original to it.
yeah.
Like the Ray Stevens version. I'm sorry, Ray, if you're listening, but it sounds like they just took the Elmo and Patsy track, and he just sort of went through the motions of singing along with it.
Right. Yeah, I thought they were very clever.
If you go to the YouTube, I think, and type in Grandma, there's like over 1,000 people who have just in their living room or groups or whatever have recorded it.
Well, you're going to be part of another one of our vinyl shows. Jason and I, we get together and we think of what we're going to do for the next month's vinyl show. And we've got, I think, 4 out of the next 6 months' vinyl shows are on location. We're hoping to get the other 2 on location also. But we try to come up with a theme. That would be cool. We had Southern rock, and we've done just all country or whatever. But we're going to do one of covers, where the original and covers. And, of course, we're going to have your guys's, and then, 1 or maybe 2, maybe Weird Al's version or, maybe Dolly's version. I'm not sure which one to cover, depending on the album we got.
Randy's getting excited because you're starting to make him extra nickels.
Yeah. Hey, if I can help him make money, man, I'm all about it.
I can see another Starbucks coffee in my future.
All because of us.
Yeah, another Starbucks. Wow, you made that much money off of it? But
I'll tell you a new one that's online. Well, I don't know about online. It's available through iTunes right now. new guy Lance Carpenter, who's on Toby Keith's label.
Mm-hmm.
He did a recording this year, and what a nice guy. He got in touch with me and said, "Would you like to come up to Nashville and be on the session with me?"
Oh, wow.
So I sang harmony with him on it.
Randy, that is awesome.
That's way cool. That's way cool.
And in the studio that Reba built, so that was fun.
Oh, my.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Now, Randy, before we get into the song here in just a little bit, tell us about your career other than Reindeer. You've got other stuff that's out there. How people can find it, what you got, and how people can find it.
Well, first of all, I'd say that career is too strong a term. but I'm at randybrooksmusic.com.
Okay.
I've got a couple of CDs, and I play in a couple of bands, but I also then do the singer-songwriter thing and quite a bit of things in Nashville and, as you mentioned, Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And songwriter festivals and that kind of thing. And it's all because of Grandma that I get invited to these things. And then I try to convince people that I can actually sing the other 11 months of the year as well.
That's kind of sad. It's like an actor does a great movie, and then they get stereotyped on that, and I do more than just one song,
Well, I'm sure that they get asked
Yeah.
to perform Grandma through every month of the year.
Yeah.
So in July, when it's
It
102
took me a long
degrees,
time to get into playing the singer-songwriter things. I was more comfortable hiding behind bands.
Mm-hmm.
So it was only the last 10 years or so that I really got active on this front. And you might know my uncle Foster Brooks,
Is that your uncle?
Lush comedian.
Oh, is that your uncle, really?
My dad's older brother.
Oh, my
And
God,
I
Randy.
feel like him.
I love him.
Yeah. He got started at age 65. Really successful.
Yeah.
Kind of the way I feel.
Overnight success, yeah.
There's still hope for us.
But that's your Foster Brooks, your uncle. Wow, your dad's
Yes.
brother. We were just talking about him
And
the other night.
he used to do voices for a radio show in the morning in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a letter from him where he claims to have been instrumental in getting it started in Los Angeles, but I don't know if that's true.
Right. Yeah, he's one of my favorite. I watched the Dean Martin roast quite a bit. And, of course,
Yes.
what's sad is things they say in there now you can't say today.
No.
And I think that's sad. Yeah, I think
absolutely.
that's sad. Because back then, they all just laughed amongst each other, and they were just good fun. It didn't matter who it was. But Foster was the funniest of all the people on it didn't matter what great entertainer they had to come up to do the roast. He was the best. He was the funniest. He was the most natural sounding with his delivery of his lines. He just happened to act like he sounded like he was drunk at the time. And the roast with him and Don Rickles, when he was roasting Don Rickles, was one of my favorites. So Don was just hysterical with that. So, no, Uncle
He was
Foster.
when he said I'm sleeping with your wife, and by the way, you're out of scotch.
You're out of scotch. But that's, and he got Lauren Green on the line when he goes, and we're always sad when you're coming home because I know they got to cheese it. Oh, and by the way, you're out of Velveeta too. So it's just a great line. But yeah, when he was roasting Sammy Davis Jr., half of that you can't play on today's. You couldn't do it live today. And Sammy just sit there and just laugh.
Well, you can barely play Grandma on the radio anymore.
Yeah, I know.
All I know is we're going to play the fire out of Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, and we're going to play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We're going to play Baby It's Cold Outside until the cows come home. I'm tired of people going.
I did last week in Gatlinburg, and then again in College Grove, Tennessee. My friend Scott Southworth and I sang a duet on "Baby It's Cold Outside," and the same sex version is really kind of exciting.
Wow.
got a great response.
Yeah, great response. Well, our very own Andy Parton is he's alive. We've heard from him. He's like Loch Ness Monster. It was like finding Bigfoot, but Andy's listening. He says everything sounded great. And, Randy was absolutely hilarious and wants to wish us all a Merry Christmas.
There you
So
go.
thank you, Andy. We'll
Merry
see you here
Christmas to you.
tonight. So we'll see Andy hopefully in a couple of weeks when we start the new shows in 2019. So
Are you guys at the smokehouse tonight?
No, we're the Smokehouse will be the 23rd, which is Sunday. We do
Yes.
the vinyl show on the 23rd.
Okay.
And then I host a round there once a month. The last Saturday of every month, I do a roundup there.
We passed, my wife and I passed the smokehouse last week. First time I've ever seen it. We had been in Canton, Georgia. I read online that there was a school in Canton that was going to do a musical for Christmas that they had written based on Grandma. And the theater kids write this thing, and they write in a part for every kid in the special education department at the school.
Oh, nice.
that's
And,
cool.
and it was just amazing. Some of these kids who never have a chance to shine in any way, for them and for their parents, it was so fantastic.
Excellent.
And I was so glad that we went.
Excellent. Well,
Can I can I say something here real
Sure,
quick?
Patsy.
Randy's got some fantastic kids, and I was just sitting here thinking about the time that has gone by. But if he puts his newsletter out on the, I guess on your Facebook or something like that, because I used to get all your Christmas newsletters. But tell him about your wonderful little daughter Libby. He used to write the funniest things about his kids, and that since he brought the thing up about the children.
Sure.
Well, Libby's all grown up now, and she's a pole dancer. We actually went to one of her pole dancing exhibitions in Nashville last weekend.
Wow. I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh or be shocked. I don't know what to do here. I'm a little awkward.
And she got married in a cave last year in Bowling Green.
Oh, wow.
A Harry Potter themed wedding.
Okay.
Wow.
Very exciting.
Up there in Horse Cave?
She's very bohemian. And she's the complete opposite of my other daughter, Christy,
Who's a nun?
who is the unknown Kardashian.
Ah, okay.
And Christy's getting married in 2 weeks down in Mexico.
Uh-huh. I don't know where to go with this.
And there's going to be a clean donkey that takes part in the ceremony. And at the end of the ceremony, the priest says, "You may now kiss the donkey."
I bet Brian is pulling his hair out right now at Pulaski. Going, what the heck is going on here?
Patsy, the newsletter's ready to come out. I'll be emailing it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I look forward every time. You never know what he's going to say, but it's always great.
Patsy, that one's on you. That one's on you, Patsy, for bringing that one up.
I've got to get on the mailing list for this.
I'm a little worried.
Absolutely, and I'll put it on my Facebook page too.
Oh, man. So while we got people, and again, we got a lot of new people that are listening all over the world. Again, this is going off Facebook Live, as well as all the other sites that Brian's got it linked into. So we got a lot of new people listening to
I bet
Patsy.
the Russians are trying to shut it down.
They got me for collusion, that's for sure. That's all right, I'll admit that. We do have people in Russia listening, but it's not Putin. to an American for me.
No.
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, them former KGB guys usually are. Yeah, they're really nice deep down inside. She's like petting a werewolf, that's all. Yeah.
I forgot what's this show about.
I have no idea, Randy. We think that week after week when we finally hang up going, what the heck were we talking about tonight? What was the point of the thing? We did some talking and had a little bit of music, you know? But, again, we were talking about people that's new to the show. Patsy, tell us about some people that you're been infatuated with, or musicians you really, really like.
Besides me.
Besides Jason. What artists do you like to listen to or you grew up on?
Well, my three favorite women singers were like Linda Ronstadt,
Oh,
Emmylou
yes.
Harris, and Dolly Parton.
Oh, yeah.
I had everything they did. Of course, I like what was the Back to the Future? Those guys.
Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis.
Huey
I
Lewis and
love
Lewis.
Huey Lewis. And, as far as musicians, I think Waddy Wachtel was one of the best guitar players I've ever heard, and he was with Linda Ronstadt. And man, when he starts playing stuff, you're there with him. But
Yeah, Linda's in my top
Yeah.
top all-time female singers. Karen Carpenter, which is a totally different style than
Yeah.
Linda, but just the range and the vocal range Karen had, but the power of Linda's voice.
yeah,
I mean, just and she had the looks too for me. You know, back in the days, I was a young man in the '70s going, and that's one beautiful woman. But boy, she could just flat out belt
what
it.
vocal cords she
Yeah,
had.
belt it out.
Yeah.
Randy, how about you? What music were you listening to? Who influenced your way, other than the Kingston Trio?
Well, and then after them, it evolved into Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Good choice.
And then all of a sudden, there were the Beatles.
Yeah, they'll do that, won't they?
And that's just sort of, I'm sort of stuck in the Beatles ever since.
I am too.
Although I also loved and have great respect for the Eagles.
Oh, I do too. I do too.
But Patsy mentioned Huey Lewis, and I have a Huey Lewis story.
Okay.
A buddy of ours has a ranch up in Montana that he actually bought from Hank Williams Jr., and he's right across the street from Huey Lewis.
Oh, wow.
And one night, my wife fixed dinner, and Huey came over to dinner,
Wow.
and somebody started to say, Randy, you know, and Huey said, yes, we all know about Mr. Brooks's song. But at the end of dinner, somehow we wound up singing 16 Candles, and we did a duet on it. That's one of my favorite musical moments ever.
Wow.
On their album, they did like what is it called? Where they did the harmonies without the music.
Acapella?
They did a cappella, but it's called like Barbershop. They did a barbershop of that one album. They did 2 barbershop songs, and the harmonies those guys did was great.
Oh, they were great. Again, the 80s, I
And
thought
then
was
somebody
cheesy.
else,
Yeah.
the listener can sing the melody with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
they were
you know, I also wanted to, I was listening to Patsy telling her Bing Crosby story.
Uh-huh.
I have a Bing Crosby story.
Okay.
When my dad went off to be in World War II, my mom was taking voice lessons in New York, and then she went out to L.A. and she was going to audition for the movies.
Okay.
And she had an audition with Bing Crosby,
Wow.
and Crosby asked her, "Do you love your husband?" And she said, "Well, of course I do." And he said, "Well, then I think you ought to go back home, because if you stay out here, your marriage won't last."
Wow.
Wow.
And she went back home.
So he was acting as a father figure toward her in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
He might have just been saying you have no talent, but
Just being nice. It's just being nice. Well, Randy, I'm going to say your mom's got talent because you've got the talent too. But now, did your mom or dad write songs or sing like that, or your mom was going to go to the movies apparently?
she, I only knew her as the soloist, the soprano soloist in the church choir.
Okay.
And my dad led his own dance band, like on Friday and Saturday nights, and then on Sunday morning he was the organist and choir director.
Wow.
And the jobs he played with his band were at the Jewish Country Club, and then he was in the Presbyterian Church every morning. Speaking of ecumenicalism.
Yeah.
And he did the first song my brother and I ever wrote. We were still in high school, and he played it for a friend of his, the Chilton Price. She wrote the song "You Belong to Me." You know, see the pyramids along the Nile, and she also encouraged us to, continue writing, and I'm glad I did.
Well, that's awesome.
We are too. Especially me.
You're very kind.
Every 6 weeks, she says thank you. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Randy.
Well, you were mentioning Halloween. If you listen online, I've got this song called "It's Halloween," a Christmas song that I keep hoping will catch on at Halloween some year.
Well, actually, Randy, when I was a kid, probably 10, I rewrote Grandma for Halloween.
Did you really?
Oh, that had to be
Did
great.
you?
Yeah, Grandma got run over by a pumpkin.
By a pumpkin.
I was 10. Come on.
Patsy's dad actually wanted us to do a rewrite of Grandma for every holiday.
I didn't know that.
I just was not sharp enough to come up with it. But
Dad
this
saw
year,
dollar signs, didn't
a
he?
friend who does a video series online said, "I want you to be on." But it was the week before Easter, and he said, "I just don't want you to do Grandma Got Run Over, It's the spring."
Yeah.
So just to get at him, I wrote Grandma Got Run Over to the tune of Easter Parade. And it was Grandma got run over with her pet rabbit Rover. Yeah, on the way to the Easter Parade or something like that.
Oh, man.
Farmer Johnson's tractor went wild and it attacked her, and like an egg, it cracked her at the Easter Parade.
Oh, man. Were you asked back the next year there, Randy? Oh, man.
Clearly, I have grandmother issues.
So, let's. Brian's saying he wants a song going on here real quick because he's fighting audio issues. So the song will make this go away. Patsy, you got a song you'd like to play? One more before we do Grandma.
One more before we do Grandma?
Yep, if you don't mind. You done a couple of Randy Brooks songs. I don't know if Randy heard you do those other than the last one.
I'm trying to find one with the... Okay, let's see.
We go-
Thanksgiving's not that far back.
Right.
I wrote a song for Thanksgiving. I'm doing original so you don't have to pay anybody.
Oh, they're paying you.
Okay. There's turkey on the platter. Round the table we're all gathered. Maryland special cranberry sauce, homemade biscuits and cornbread with butter and sorghum on the side. There's sweet ambrosia salad, collard greens cooked just right. Thank you for this family who is gathered in your sight. Thank you, Lord, for this day and bless this food we eat. Make us strong and guide us down each path that we take. Watch over and guide us, let our hearts be true. Let us learn to share your love in all that we do. There's turkey on the platter, round the table we're all gathered. Mashed potatoes and gravy, sweet potatoes and caramel sauce with marshmallows browned on top. Aunt Sue's green bean casserole and Mary Lou's stuffing to getting hungry yet. Thank you for the love that flows from this song to you. There's turkey on the platter, round the table we're all gathered. Fancy dish of olives, cream stout corn, apple pie, and canned store-bought fruit cake. There's pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, and Grandma's pecan pie. We are grateful for this day just to be alive. Thank you, Lord, for this day and bless this food we eat. Make us strong and guide us down each path that we take. Watch over and guide us, let our hearts be true. Let us learn to share your love in all that we do. Let us learn to share your love in all that we do. Amen. Now dig in and pass the biscuits, please. Thank you. A friend invited me over to their church, and instead of bringing food, they asked me if I would write a song for them. And so I just thought about all the food I really liked at Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you have a good Thanksgiving then?
Had a great Thanksgiving. I had good food there.
No. Where'd you go? To a friend's house? Is that where you went to?
Actually, it was the church. It was a small church, and they met at someone's home.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
What was the best thing you ate there? What was
Oh, man, it's hard to decide. My favorite thing is dressing with gravy on it.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, instead of pie, I'll go back and get seconds on dressing.
On dressing.
Every time.
See, I'm a sucker for sweet potato casserole, but I don't like mine with raisins in it. I don't know who decided to put raisins in it. They need to be shot.
You had a
Stop
rabbit
doing that.
visit.
Yeah. Just give me sweet potatoes with some vanilla extract, some eggs beat into it, and then I do cover mine with like little mini marshmallows on the top.
Yes.
And then I crush up cinnamon toast crunch. I chop it up, and I do like layers of each with a little butter on it, and then bake it. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got to get off the subject. So,
You're making me hungry.
I am starving. Yeah, that sounds good. But Patsy, again, it's on her. She did a Thanksgiving song. So, Patsy, what's next? I got computers barking at me. What's next for you? You're finishing up 2018. Is this your last show of 2018?
I got one more show.
One
I'll be
more.
at the Barbecue Caboose
Oh, okay.
in
Down in
Lynchburg
Lynchburg.
on Saturday.
Okay.
And then that's it for this season.
Okay.
And then I'm like I said, I'm getting ready to do my third book, and got a couple of other ideas and working on my YouTube channel.
Got any dancing plants or anything in the future?
No pole work for me.
No pole work. No pole work. So, Randy, I heard there was a plastic dancing version of Percy the puny poinsettia that you weren't real wild about at first.
He's not on at the moment.
We lost Randy.
Oh no, he's supposed to sing with us on Grandma.
Are we able to get him back? Randy, if you're listening to us, we're trying to get you back online.
I'm trying.
Our computer did his little thing. Michael Bradford just texted in, starving. He's laughing. So we're going to get her to sing one more song while we try to get Randy back online, if that's okay.
Another one.
Do you mind?
Okay, I know what I'll do. This is one. Okay. This
That's
is
just not pole dancing. I just didn't want to hear that.
well, you said dancing.
She said, well, I'm not pole
No
dancing.
pole dancing for me.
Yeah.
Those days are long gone. Okay, I do have a Christmas song. It's been a while since I've done this one too, but we wrote this song. A friend of mine, Marilyn Green. I don't know if y'all ever met Marilyn or not, or anybody remembers her. She's a wonderful kind of folk singer, and she was a yodeler, and she was awesome. And but anyway, my dad introduced her to me, and we started writing songs together. And we called ourselves the Cosmic Compadres and partners in rhyme. But we came up with this song, and it goes like this right here. And this is about the time when cell phones were first coming out.
Okay.
And you remember that one guy, he now does commercials for another phone service. But can you hear me now? Do y'all
yes.
remember?
Yeah.
Okay. This is when we wrote this one. I can hear joyful singing, Christmas Eve is here. The snow has stopped falling, the night is cold and clear. Off in the distance, way up there on high, Santa and his reindeer are streaking across the sky. There is something different, it's not the same somehow. Instead of a jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Not a jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? Santa's gone high tech, he's joined the cyber crowd. Now he's on his cell phone wherever it's allowed. The elves and Mrs. Santa have all gone high-tech too. Now when Santa's on his run, they're never quite all through. There is something different, it's not the same somehow. Instead of jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Not a jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? He might forget something that he's supposed to do, a special gift for someone or for a pet or two. Then I noticed something, it gave me such a fear. He drives his sleigh one-handed now, his phone's glued to his ear. There's something different, it's not the same somehow. Instead of a jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? Santa could get off course and run into a plane. Then to the authorities he'd have to explain. He was on his cell phone and lost his link somehow. Instead of Merry Christmas, it's can you hear me now? There's something different, it's not the same somehow. Instead of a jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? Instead of a jolly ho ho ho, it's can you hear me now? No, oh hello Santa, just checking in, can you hear me now? Coming in loud and clear, Santa, no static on this line. Good. Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, Rocket Brother.
What's this? Is that Randy?
I think we're trying to call Randy. Ironically, you're singing a song about, can you hear me now? We drop Randy.
Yeah.
Randy, did we get you back?
Hello?
Did we get Randy back?
I'm back. It was the Russians.
It was the Russians. Doggone them. We can't do nothing anymore without them getting involved.
No, I knew I shouldn't have snuck off with that girl with the accent.
Yeah, you making Putin mad. You can't do that. You make him mad.
No, you don't.
You're gonna have to do Grandma got run over by the Kremlin or something. Is the next song you got to do. But that was.
Hey, don't tell Weird Al.
He's already gone, made his millions, probably milking that song. So, what was his song about, Jason? Was it Grandma got run over by a reindeer, or what did he do? Weird Al's version.
I never heard it.
Did you say he did it? Weird Al did? Jason, I swear to God, I heard you say that.
I thought Patsy said
Maybe Patsy did.
I said it. Yeah, he did it a long time ago. And who is the guy that we did the interview with out in California? Dr. Demento.
Oh yeah.
He didn't sing it, but he played it.
Oh,
and he's the one who did. We did Garbage Dumpster Took My Love Away live on Dr. Demento.
Wow.
Oh.
Really?
Dr.
Yeah,
Demento.
we did.
I don't think I ever got paid for that.
You ought to get a hold of Dr. Demento.
Randy, it's in the mail. It's coming in the mail.
Yeah, check's in the mail.
I'm looking to buy some Dr. Demento albums.
Yeah. He was just odd, boy, back in them days. But yeah, a lot of people don't know Dr. Demento. You have to be above 30, I think, in order to.
Now, I saw him with Weird Al when Weird Al got his star.
Mm-hmm.
He was there with Weird Al.
Wow, and he should have been. So.
And he's still out there online. I don't think he's on any regular radio stations, but
Right.
I submitted a song to him, but I don't think it ever got played, though. She sure looked good last night. I said, yeah, I said it to him.
Though that's a really good song. We're down to crunch
I
time.
talked to him online last year, and he said that he was proud of whatever role he played in helping Grandma to get established.
Well, he was the initial one to play it live. When we sent it to every radio station across the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we were playing at in San Francisco at the convention center, and there was a fellow in the audience who was an opera singer. I think I've told you all this.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know him, but he came up and bought a record and took it to what was his name? Gene Nelson at KSFO, which
Okay.
is a major station in San
That's how
Francisco.
that happened.
Yeah, we didn't even know it, and he told Gene, he says, "You've got to play this," and Gene said no, because I mean we had sent it to everybody,
Right.
and nobody would play it. They immediately threw it away, and
Just threw it away.
Which is why
They
there's only
did.
9,000 copies. Like,
yeah.
they did. They threw it away. And so that this guy, Gene Nelson, he played it the last song. Every year he was their top DJ. And he, right before Christmas, they paid him, he got a paid vacation to Hawaii. So he played it once, walked out of the room, put the record in his locker, locked it, left the building and flew to Hawaii. And from that one airing, we sold 10,000 records in less than a week.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
what
And I
started
know
it.
that Gene later said that as soon as he played the record, the phones lit up at the radio station
Yeah.
with people saying, "Don't ever play that song again."
And thank God he didn't listen to him.
Well, people were calling us.
No
from,
kidding.
People were calling us from all over the United States at all hours of the night and day. Elmo would get on one phone and I would get on the other. I'd play the guitar and then he would sing the lead and then we'd do the harmony. But that would be the only copy they'd have to play until we could send them a record. And they
Wow.
already had one.
Wow.
No.
You know, Patsy, you were talking about Joe Gibson
Yeah,
and with National Sound Distributors, that what it was called?
nationwide.
Nationwide, that put out the record before it could get a label. I was playing in Nashville one day, and this guy came up to me who was also on the show, Jimmy Payne, who was the co-writer on
Yes.
Woman, Woman, Have You Got Cheating on Your Mind?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I've been wanting to meet you. He said, I was doing work for Joe Gibson
Wow,
back in the 80s, and I helped promote Grandma.
Wow.
amazing. Yeah,
I was so impressed that this guy that wrote a song that I grew up with, had
Yeah.
helped us.
Well, Joe Gibson is the one who got it to #1. It was through him. I forget how much we paid him a week, but he went out with people and they started promoting it and working it. And then CSAC kind of jumped in on it. Trying to think of his name, but they jumped in and were promoting it. But it got to #1 in '83 on Nationwide Sound.
Wow. Now, tell us before we do the song, the MTV ordeal. Didn't you say, with the video and going on the MTV?
We recorded that in our living room on film. We brought in a film crew, and they took it to Osmond Brothers Studio in Utah. Is that right? Utah?
Okay.
They're in Utah, and transferred it from film to video. And at that time, MTV was taking video, and it was the 3-inch
Right.
reel. And because we'd shot it on film, but I was home and I was doing laundry because we were getting ready to go back out on the road again. And I answered the phone, and I don't remember the lady's name, but she said, "Hi, I'm so-and-so from MTV, and we'd really like to put your video on MTV." And I was, yeah. I could hardly speak. And I said, "It's in the mail." And I did, man. I finished my laundry because I was so shook up, but then I went ahead and packaged it up and mailed it on.
whose idea was it to put Elmo in a dress?
That was his idea.
Somehow I saw that coming.
I was wondering when he was going to come out of the closet.
So touche. Live on video. Send your cards and letters to Patsy Trigg. Yeah, that was a wild video. So that was shot in your house.
Yes.
The two cops cracked me up that are sitting there doing the.
That was our bass player and drummer.
Oh, was it really? I love it. They hold out the little thing. that's got the-
Larry Carlin was one of them, wasn't he?
Yeah, Larry Carlin was the redhead, and Greg was the other fellow, the dark-haired one where the snow fell off of his cap.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Both very talented, both really good musicians.
So who played Grandpa?
Yeah.
That was Elmo also.
Oh, he
played
did both parts.
Yeah, he played both parts.
Oh, it didn't even look like him. I know he had the white beard, but it did not look like
Yeah.
him. And of course, you with longer hair, I see this is Patsy. This is how I see Patsy. So when I look at the album, which is over here, and you got the long shoulder length dark hair. I'm like going, wow, that's just so. But the same face. You zero in the face. The face has not changed. It
you.
looks the same. So.
Now it's like silver.
Well, I can't say anything, Patsy. I'm with you. So.
Hey, at least you have hair.
Oh,
No.
thank you. As I look to my immediate left to Jason.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. You do need a haircut. You got some long old hair in the back, dude. You're a hippie. I've got a ponytail down halfway down my back. I'm calling him a hippie. I think it's time. I think it's time that people
ready
out
to do
there.
Grandma?
Yeah, I think people out there are biting at the bit. We have the writer of the song, Mr. Randy Brooks, is on the phone with us. We have Miss Patsy Trigg, who is one half of the duet, Elmo and Patsy. Who between these two people, the thing went to multiple platinum and gold albums.
We've sold over 16 million.
16 million.
As the last time I called in and asked. So
Do like the royalty checks come in? Do you like call Randy and go, thank
I
you?
even
And
brought one.
Yeah, we've got one here. Randy, you call each other on a conference call and go, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. So,
We should.
yeah. It'd be like a little reunion there. All right, Patsy, go
I
ahead.
do this in the key of G. Hope you can. That's okay for you.
Go ahead.
Well, and I hope the delay. If
Oh,
it
yeah.
screws up, I'll quit singing.
All right.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. You can quit singing now.
Yeah,
Okay.
the delay is bad.
Walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and Grandpa, we believe she'd been drinking too much eggnog, and we begged her not to go. She forgot her medication, and she staggered out the door into the snow. When we found her Christmas morning at the scene of the attack, she had hoof prints on her forehead and incriminating claws marks on her back. Grandma got run over by a reindeer, come on, walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and Grandpa, we believe. Now we're all so proud of Grandpa. He's been taking this so well. See him in there watching football, drinking beer and playing cards with Cousin Mel. It's not Christmas without Grandma. All the family's dressed in black, and we just can't help but wonder, should we open up her gifts or send them back? What are we gonna
Send them back.
Yes! Grandma got run over by a reindeer, walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and Grandpa, we believe. Now the goose is on the table, and the pudding made of fig, and the blue and silver candles that would just to match the hair in Grandma's wig. We warned all our friends and neighbors, better watch out for yourselves. They should never give a license to a man who drives a sleigh and plays with elves. Are you ready, Randy? I'll give you the last one.
Well, I can't sing along. It takes delay.
Acapella. Okay, here goes.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer, walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Yeah.
That was good, Randy.
We don't care about time delay.
That worked.
It
Yes.
did work.
Well, we're down to the closing minutes here of the show. I want to just thank everybody that's been listening worldwide. You got a chance to hear Mr. Randy Brooks, who
Yay!
written the song, and Miss Patsy Trigg, who recorded it. And between the two, they have made this thing go straight to the top of Christmas songs and songs in general all over the world. Love this stuff. We were getting people lighting us up on our Facebook page. We got likes, and man, there's something else. Look like candy canes. I've never seen it before.
Now, I will have to say, when I meet Randy in person, he's going to have to play me this dumpster song.
Oh yeah, yeah. But Randy, thank you so much for.
Oh Lord.
Thank you so much for being part of our show and a part of our new music family here. And our lives cross several times with you. Again, I got to meet you only in Gatlinburg, but hopefully I'll get to see you at the Commodore and around Nashville. And then I'm sure we'll see each other again in Gatlinburg. We'll be part of that Smoky Mountain Songwriter Festival, which I'm looking forward to. So, Randy, thank you for being part of
Absolutely.
that and putting up with us.
It's good to talk to you again, Randy.
My pleasure.
It's been a
Yeah,
while.
if you happen to be in Nashville Friday night, come by the Bluebird. We'll be there.
Wow, okay.
At the Bluebird, Mr. Randy Brooks at the Bluebird. Patsy, thank you again for putting up
Thank
with
you.
us.
Always a thrill. It's always fun.
We have a
And Randy,
blast.
you got to do this show.
Yeah, we got to have Randy here. We'll grill him in person.
I'd love to.
Well, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Patsy, for everybody that's involved. We want everyone to have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for a great 2018. Again, this is our last live show for the year.
And we
We're-
have a message for you too. Randy and I both do that. I'm sure he will agree with this.
Okay.
If you're out walking around, you hear sleigh bells,
Duck.
duck.
Watch out for low-flying reindeer.
There you go. There you go. Again, I want to thank everybody. Brian, thank you, the IT guru down in Pulaski. Miss Velvet Presley, who snuck in just moments ago, the IT guru. I am Mark, your DJ Doctor.